This lizard just messed with the wrong crocodile. Here comes the mother crocodile.
Oh, too many eggs have already been lost. Are we still having crocodile babies?
Before we dive into this video, just so you don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe if you have interest in wildlife.
So let's discover what really happened in that video. Over to you, Sir Daniel.
Welcome to Animal Kingdom, where the wild comes alive.
Far, far away within the heart of the Niger Delta, where the great rivers of West Africa bleed into the sea in a labyrinth of mangroves and shimmering mudflats, a timeless drama of life and death unfolds beneath the relentless sun. Here, amid the tangled roots and the ceaseless whisper of tidal waters, we find one of nature's most formidable guardians, the Nile crocodile. A living relic from the age of dinosaurs, her armored form a testament to survival through eons of savage trial. She is no mere predator. She is a mother whose vigilance borders on the obsessive, whose ferocity masks a devotion as ancient as the wetlands themselves. And today, in this sweltering realm of hidden perils, we shall follow her story, one of mating rites etched in water and blood, of a nest defended with eerie intensity, of an intruder whose cunning nature nearly unravels her future, and of a final confrontation that echoes with raw, bone-crushing savagery. This is the tale of the crocodile and the monitor lizard, just as the delta itself might tell it. Slow, inexorable, and drenched in the primal pulse of existence. It begins, as all such cycles do, in the humid embrace of the mating season, when the rains have begun their tentative retreat and the waters of the delta run low and warm. The female, let us call her by her silent presence, a massive matriarch some 3.5 meters long, her scales, scarred from battles past, has chosen her territory with the precision of instinct honed over 12 years of life. She patrols a quiet backwater, a secluded pool fringed by papyrus and the skeletal fingers of dead mangroves, where fish dart in silver schools, and the air hangs heavy with the scent of decay and renewal. The males have gathered, their bellows reverberating like distant thunder across the flats. One dominant bull, broader and more battle-worn than the rest, rises half out of the water, his jaws agape in a cavernous gape, slapping the surface with a thunderclap that sends ripples fleeing into the reeds. He blows bubbles from his nostrils, a ritual display as old as the rivers, and the female watches from the shallows, her eyes half-lidded, assessing. Courtship is no gentle waltz here. It is a dance of power and submission played out in the murky depths. The bull circles her, his tail thrashing, and she responds with subtle turns, allowing him closer until their bodies align in the warm silt. Mating itself is brief, brutal, a surge of ancient urgency beneath the surface where bubbles erupt and the water churns. No romance colors this union, only the imperative to perpetuate the line. In the days that follow, the female's body swells with the promise of eggs, and she withdraws to the margins, feeding sparingly on mullet and crabs, to conserve energy for the task ahead. The delta watches in eerie silence, broken only by the calls of fish eagles overhead and the distant splash of leaping tilapia. Weeks pass some 60 days by the turning of the seasons, and the time of nesting arrives. The female selects her site with care, a sandy bank some meters from the water's edge, where the soil is loose enough to dig, yet firm enough to hold against the tides. She works alone, her powerful hind limbs and snout carving a hole perhaps 1/2 meter deep, an oblique burrow leading to a chamber wide enough for her clutch. The sun beats down mercilessly, turning the mud to baked clay, but she persists, her movements deliberate, almost trance-like. Into this cradle she deposits her eggs one by one, glistening white orbs, roughly the size of goose eggs, their shells leathery and tough. 45 in total, a fine clutch for a female of her stature, each one a vessel of potential life, destined to incubate under the delta's humid heat for nearly 3 months. She covers them meticulously, packing sand and vegetation over the mound until it blends seamlessly with the bank, invisible to all but the most discerning eye. Then, with a final sweep of her tail, she settles nearby, her massive form draped in the dappled shade of a nearby acacia, her eyes never straying far from the spot. Now begins the long vigil, a period of such unrelenting watchfulness that it borders on the eerie. For 10 to 14 weeks, the mother will guard her nest with a savage intensity that few creatures dare challenge. She eats little, perhaps a fish snatched in the shallows at dusk, her body sustained by reserves built in the wet season. Day after day, she lies over the nest or in the cool shade mere meters away, her breath slow and measured, her presence a silent warning etched in scales and muscle. The delta's heat rises in waves, temperatures climb to 40 degrees Celsius, and she slips into the water to cool, but never for long, 5-10 minutes at most before hauling herself back to her post. In these quiet hours, one can almost sense the eggs beneath the sand, their embryos developing in the warm darkness, gender determined by the subtle gradients of heat. Cooler for females, warmer for males, a lottery of survival played by the sun. But the nest is no fortress untouched by the world. The delta teems with intruders, opportunistic hunters drawn by the faint, musky scent that leaks from the buried treasure. First come the vervet monkeys, agile shadows leaping through the canopy, their sharp eyes scanning for any disturbance in the sand. A troop descends one morning, chattering with nervous excitement, one bold individual probing the mound with curious fingers. The crocodile stirs, her head lifting with glacial slowness at first, then erupting in a savage lunge that sends the monkeys scattering into the trees, their screams echoing like accusations across the flats. She does not pursue. Her duty is here, rooted to the site. Yet the damage is minor, a few scratches, quickly repaired by her careful repacking. Other creatures follow in this grim parade of thieves. Marabou storks, those grotesque undertakers of the wetlands, circle overhead, their bald heads gleaming as they land nearby, pecking at the sand in hope of an exposed egg. Baboons, larger and more brazen than the vervets, raid in the heat of midday when the mother dozes in the shade. One such incursion sees her explode from cover with a roar that freezes the air, jaws snapping shut on empty space as the primates flee. But not before one egg is unearthed and crushed in haste. The loss is felt keenly, not just one future crocodile, but a thread in the delicate web of the delta's balance. Each egg represents a 1 in 50 chance of reaching adulthood in these predator-rich waters. To lose even a few is to diminish the population's fragile hold. Day after relentless day, the mother monitors her charge. Dawn brings the first light filtering through the mangroves, painting the nest in gold. She shifts position, ensuring the mound remains shaded from the worst of the midday blaze. Noon sees her half submerged in a nearby pool, eyes and nostrils breaking the surface like periscopes, ever vigilant. Dusk falls with the eerie calls of nightjars, and she returns, her bulk settling with a sigh of displaced sand. Rain comes in sudden torrents, threatening to flood the chamber. She piles more earth, her movements frantic yet precise, the savage urgency of protection driving her. Through it all, other neat invaders, mongooses slinking low through the grass, herons stabbing at the edges, even the occasional python coiling in the undergrowth, test her resolve. She repels them all with charges that shake the ground, her tail whipping like a scythe, her jaws a promise of oblivion. The nest endures, but the toll on her is visible. Her eyes grow sunken, her scales dulled by the constant sun and vigilance. Then, on the 42nd day of guarding, a new shadow falls across the mound. From the tangled undergrowth emerges a Nile monitor, a sleek, sinuous predator, nearly 2 meters long, its forked tongue flicking the air like a serpent's whisper. These lizards are the most destructive raiders of crocodile nests, their intelligence matched only by their hunger known to count, to coordinate, to exploit the briefest lapse in a mother's watch. This one is a veteran. its hide scarred from past encounters, its eyes cold with calculation. It approaches not head-on, but in a wide, cautious arc, testing the wind, waiting for the mother to slip into the water for her cooling dip. She senses it before she sees it, the faint rustle, the change in the air. With eerie swiftness for a creature of her bulk, she charges from the shallows, water exploding around her in a curtain of spray. The monitor bolts, its legs a blur of agility, darting toward the mangroves with whip-like tail lashing behind. She closes the gap in a thunderous rush, jaws gaping wide in a savage snap that misses by centimeters, clamping instead on a root that splinters under the force. The lizard vanishes into the thicket, heart pounding, but unharmed. The mother returns to her nest, nostrils flaring, a low growl rumbling in her throat, an intense, primal warning that hangs in the humid air like a curse. The first encounter is over, but the intruder has tasted opportunity. It will return. The days that follow are a tense ballet of near misses. The monitor probes again at twilight, when shadows lengthen and the mother's vigilance wanes ever so slightly. She spots it, lunges with terrifying speed, her death roll instinct kicking in even on land, but the lizard's agility saves it once more, scrambling up a low branch where her jaws cannot reach. Frustration builds in her. One can imagine the savage fire burning behind those ancient eyes. Other invaders continue their harassment, monkeys raiding at noon, a mongoose slipping in at dawn to snatch a fragment of shell, but the nest holds, 45 eggs still intact beneath the sand. Yet the monitor grows bolder, learning her rhythms, the exact minute she retreats to water, the depth of her shade-bound slumbers. On the 58th day, the invasion reaches its climax. The mother has just returned from a brief forage, her belly empty and gnawing, when the monitor strikes not alone this time, but with a cunning ally. A second, smaller lizard, drawing her attention to the far side of the bank with frantic movements. She charges the decoy, jaws slamming shut on air, while the primary raider tears at the mound with powerful claws, sand flying in a frenzy. Eggs are exposed, glistening orbs cracked open, yolks spilling in viscous ruin. The mother wheels back with a roar that splits the delta's silence, a sound of pure savage fury. This time, she catches the raider mid-raid. The confrontation is brief, brutal, and utterly one-sided in its intensity. The monitor turns to flee, but the crocodile's lunge is inexorable, 3 tons of muscle and armor closing the distance in a blur. Her jaws clamp onto the lizard's midsection with bone-crushing force, the savage pressure exceeding 3,000 pounds per square inch, ribs snapping like dry twigs. The monitor thrashes, tail whipping, claws raking futilely at her armored hide, drawing thin lines of blood that mingle with the sand, but there is no escape. She drags it into a death roll on the bank, the world spinning in a whirlwind of dust and agony, the lizard's spine shattering under the torque. Blood sprays in dark arcs. The monitor struggles weaken to twitches, then stillness. With a final eerie crunch, she severs the head, swallowing chunks in great gulps, her eyes glazed with the primal satisfaction of vengeance. The intruder lies dead, its body a ruined testament to the cost of invasion eviscerated, limbs splayed, the once cunning predator now mere carrion for the Delta's scavengers. The damage is catastrophic. In those frantic minutes, 18 eggs have been destroyed, crushed, devoured, or exposed to the sun and ants that swarm in opportunistic hordes. Of her intended 45 offspring, only 27 remain viable, their shells intact but the clutch irrevocably diminished. In the broader tapestry of the Delta's crocodile population, this loss ripples outward like a stone cast into still waters. Nile crocodiles already face high natural mortality. Only about 2% of hatchlings survive to adulthood amid the gauntlet of birds, fish, and rival adults. To lose nearly 40% of a clutch before hatching is to slash one female's contribution to the next generation by more than a third. Fewer subadults to patrol the rivers, fewer breeders in future seasons. a subtle erosion of local numbers in a region where human encroachment already presses hard. The dead monitor, for all its destruction, pays the ultimate price, its body feeding the very ecosystem it sought to plunder. But the toll on the crocodile's lineage is profound. A smaller creche, weaker genetic diversity in the pool, a harsher struggle for the survivors to claim their place in the food chain. Nature is indifferent, yet in this moment, one feels the savage weight of what has been lost. The remaining weeks of incubation pass in renewed vigilance, the mother's guard now fiercer, her movements edged with the memory of violation. The sand bakes under the sun, the embryos within the surviving eggs develop, hearts beating in synchronized rhythm, tiny limbs forming, senses awakening to the muffled sounds above. Then, on the 90th day, the miracle begins. From deep within the mound comes a faint, high-pitched chorus, a collective chirping, eerie and insistent, the hatchlings calling for release. The mother hears it instantly, her head snapping up, body uncoiling with startling grace. She digs with frenzy, claws and snout tearing away the sand, exposing the clutch to the light. One by one, the eggs crack. Tiny crocodiles emerge, no larger than a man's hand, their bodies slick and black-striped, eyes bright with ancient hunger. She assists the strugglers, gently rolling eggs in her mouth, those formidable jaws, now instruments of tender precision, cracking shells without harm, freeing the young into the world. 20 hatch successfully, their numbers a testament to resilience amid ruin. The mother gathers them in her throat pouch and jaws, carrying a dozen at a time with exquisite care, her teeth a deadly cage that harms not one scale. She makes multiple journeys, 13 excursions over 30 hours, ferrying them from nest to the safety of the water, then onward to her dwelling place, a deeper, secluded pool upstream, fringed by dense reeds and overhanging roots, where fish abound and larger predators are fewer. The hatchlings ride atop her head and back in the shallows, tiny sentinels on a living island, their chirps a constant dialogue of dependence. She guards them fiercely for weeks, her presence deterring herons and otters, teaching them by example the art of ambush and patience. In the months that follow, the survivors enter the normal, unforgiving life of the Delta. They disperse gradually, learning to hunt insects and small fish in the shallows, their growth rapid in the nutrient-rich waters. Some fall to the very perils their mother-defied birds, larger fish, even the occasional monitor that dares the creche, but 10 endure the first year, growing to half a meter, their instincts sharpening into the savage efficiency of their kind. The mother, her duty done, returns to her solitary patrols, her body restoring after the long fast, ready perhaps for another cycle in 2 or 3 years. And so the story closes, as all Delta tales must, in the endless wheel of life. The dead monitor's bones bleach in the sun, a silent monument to the cost of intrusion, while the young crocodiles slip through the mangroves, shadows in the making. In the Niger Delta's vast, whispering realm, where tides rise and fall like the breath of the earth itself, the crocodile's lineage persists, not unbroken, but forged stronger in the fire of loss and defense. This is nature's way, savage, eerie in its beauty, intense in its every heartbeat, a reminder that even the mightiest guardian cannot shield all, yet her ferocity ensures that some, at least, will inherit the waters. And somewhere, in the murky depths, another mating call echoes, the cycle beginning anew.